Good day, everyone. Today we're here with actor and filmmaker Damian Chapa. Have you been here in Utah before? How do you like the area?
I've never been to Utah, but when we were coming in from Page, Arizona, I saw the most beautiful mountains and cliffs that I've ever seen in my life. And then when you enter Utah, it even gets more beautiful. And I've never quite seen anything like the landscape. You know, it's a very beautiful state, and I'm very excited to be here for the 30-year anniversary of Blood In, Blood Out.
And so, how you said, you're here to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of Blood In and Blood Out. We know that movie has moved and impacted many lives, especially many Chicano lives. So knowing this, how does that make you feel?
Well, I'm very proud of it. It's something that when we did the movie, it was a lot shot in the prison. We were in the prison and in the streets of East LA, and it was an incredible time for me. You know, it was my first movie. I'm half Mexican. My father's Chicano, my mother's white. She's Irish, American. And so I was constantly fighting to fit into the Mexican side of my family. So I I knew what it was like to try to fit into and to understand a culture that I wasn't completely a part of. I got the lead as Miklo. For me, it was very easy to get into the part, but it also taught me more about my culture. So it was a great experience.
I also saw in one of your documentaries that you mentioned that when you got the part, it was deleted or something happened. So tell us a little bit more about that.
That was a very interesting time because, you know, a lot of people were up for the movie. You know, there was many names. I won't mention them because I don't want to say that, you know, they didn't get it and embarrass them. But there was a lot of big names that were up for the part of Blood and Blood because Taylor Hackford's quite a big director, and even back then, early on, he was like one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. He was a big Hollywood director who, you know, nominated for Academy Awards and, you know, all around a big studio director. So he was looking for the right guy to play Miklo. So I went to an office one day, and I'd never done a film. I had only a career in theater acting in New York City, and this was my, I don't know, about 15th audition on a film, and I never got anything, you know, and I was trying. So I went in an office on Hollywood and Vine, and the movie The Bridge was being casted there. So I went in and I took the sides for The Bridge, and I looked at them. This guy walks up to me, Rick Pagano, he was a casting agent, him and Sharon Bialy, and they said, "Are you here for a Miklo?" I said, "Well, what's Miklo? What's a Miklo, you know?" And they had me the sides, you know, which is the pages that you read for the part, and it said, "Blue-eyed Mexican American." And I said, "Wait a minute, this is me." Wait a minute. So I started to read, and I just became enamored with this part, and it was just like it came to me. I didn't go to it, it came to me. And so then I read for Taylor, and we screen tested eventually, you know, against all these actors, and I was very nervous because it was my first film. And I did 5 scenes from Blood In, Blood Out. And if you remember, at the end of the movie, there's the big scene about, you know, we're going to go out in the world and, you know, we're going to spread La Onda Gospel, Billy Graham style. A very big scene, you know, for any actor to do. Because, you know, here he is trying to fight to be into his community. He ends up being the leader. So it was a big, long, drawn-out growth period. And what happened was, I screen tested, we did 5 scenes, and Disney at the time, because I don't know if you know, but Disney did the film, they produced it. And Taylor Hackford, he loved the reading, but nobody knew who got the part. He called me up, and I was quite nervous because he says, "Hey, Damian, you know, we really loved your performance in the screen test of Blood In, Blood Out, but I'm sorry to tell you, 3 of the scenes were completely scratched and deleted because it was on film and they were all scratched up, and I couldn't believe it. I was a conspiracy theorist. I said, "Who did this?" You know? But anyway, he says, "You got to come back in and do it again." So I was devastated, to be honest with you, because, you know, you give so much to the part and so much passion, and these scenes were, you know, they were like Shakespeare. The lines were like so many lines, and so I went back and did it. And I'll never forget, I was more nervous the second time than I was the first time because I had a lot of anger that this work that I did was destroyed, you know. So, but I got through it because Jesse Borrego, the actor who played Cruz, he came to me and he said, "Hey, Vato, you know, you got to do it. You got to do it again. You can do it again." He gave me the confidence. So I did it again, and all the other actors, their stuff was fine. Mine was destroyed. But I did it again, and then Taylor called me up about a week later, and he says, "Hey, Miklo, can we talk?" And as soon as he said Miklo, I knew I got the parts.
That was the sign.
Yes.
But then also, we know everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And it was well worth it.
Well, I think that, it showed me a lot about the film industry, that, sometimes you have to do it again. I mean, I was just learning how to be a film actor. I'd already been an actor for many years in New York City on off-Broadway plays. So I knew what it was like to be an intense actor, but I didn't understand camera. I didn't understand angles. I didn't understand what camera right, camera left. So actually, I went to school on this, and Taylor Hackford actually schooled me on how to be a film actor while we were doing this big part.
Well, it was something that I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a lot people don't know about it, and you're getting some exclusive stuff because it's true. A lot of people don't know that. And also, it was my first movie, and it was a $35 million film, and this big weight was on me, and I was quite young, and I lead in the movie and $35 million film, and my first film, so it was a lot of pressure, but I got through it.
And also, Damian, you're a successful actor and filmmaker that a lot of people look up to, and that everyone wants to get to know you a little bit more into depth. So due to this, we want to ask, what is one habit that you could say has helped you get where you're at now?
Well, I think that there's so many things that you have to do. This is not an easy life, being an actor. People think it's easy. They see you in movies, they see you in red carpets, they see you all over the world, you're doing this, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes financially it's good. Sometimes it's not. It's dips up and down. But, you have to be persistent. It's like a lot of people that I know started out acting, they were way bigger than me, so to speak, as actors. And some of them are not working anymore. And because what happens is people give up on their dreams. They have a fall, like this thing, when I lost the screen test. They give up. They say, I can't do it anymore. But you have to pick up yourself. Nobody can do it for you. And I also believe, for me, I'm very tenacious. I'm a very tenacious person. Like, I don't give up on anything. If I want something, I'm going to get it. I'm like a tiger. I don't let go, and you have to be like that. And in the movie industry, I don't care who you are, you've been told no. I don't care I don't care if you're Leonardo DiCaprio or Damian Chapa or this guy or a guy that's never worked before, the biggest actor, Brad Pitt or whoever. You've heard the word no in your career, where they said no to your art. And that's a very difficult thing to experience when you give all this soul and all this creativity and all this art to people, and they say, no, I'm sorry, you're not good enough. And it plays in your mind. But you can't listen to that, because you have to understand that the people that are behind the scenes and hiring, sometimes they don't even know they have no idea what they're doing. And then you have some people like Taylor Hackford who know exactly what they're doing. And, there's people that are very responsible for, some people just have money. And they go say, hey, let's go do a movie. But they don't understand creativity. So they may choose somebody that's not as beautiful and as charismatic as you are. They may choose somebody that they like. And it's not right for the role, but hey, they got the money and they're trying. Hollywood's a very complicated thing. But you have to overcome all that. You have to, I have dyslexia. It's a little thing. It's a little disorder. I have that. Like when I read, sometimes the letters switch on me, and I'm reading, it's like, instead of, as, I'll see S-A, sa. So it depends on what I'm reading, but I use dyslexia for my benefit as an actor. I've been hearing no for many years, so it just means on to me, on.
And then also, Damian, last question. We also know that from a very young age, you had to live a life where there was this cultural mix, right? Which a lot of our youth, including myself, have had to deal with. For example, not fully fitting in culturally on either side, or simply dealing with the cultural clashes and differences. So what would be a piece of advice you would give our youth that have had a hard time with this?
Well, I think the whole world's got that going on nowadays. It's like everybody's got this kind of identity politics. It's like, when I grew up, when my father grew up, I should say, there was a lot of discrimination. There was a lot of problems. You know, my father sat in the back of the school. He's Mexican. You know, he had to sit in the back of it. He told me about it. But nowadays, life is different. You know, it's like the same battles that people have in any community that's a minority is different today. There's more opportunity. And all these people going around and saying, I'm this, I'm that. Stop talking about these specific identity things. You know, nobody deserves anything better just because of the way they look. In other words, giving somebody a job because of the color of their skin is just as bad as not giving somebody a job for the color of skin. You know, you just got to base it on the person's work, the person's effort. It's got to be about the person, not their identity as far as race or color or creed. It's got to be, you know, how is this person performing for me? What are they doing? Are they doing their best, you know? And the problem is we're all getting separated by all these things. It's like Miklos said in the movie, you know? He said, he looked at Montana, and Montana says, oh, you speak Spanish. Parrot speaks Spanish, you know? So what? But he looks at him and says, Chicano is not a color. It's the way you think and the way you live. It's not about color. It's what do we feel. And our culture, as you well know, more than me, porque tú eres mexicana, ¿verdad? You know the culture probably better than I do. But I embrace our culture, and I love our culture. So I'm a part of it because of my love for our culture.
You heard it, folks. And that's the way to see life in general, right? We can't just be stereotyping or just because of color, image. It's always important to, be inclusive, include everybody, and then be specific with a person's, personality. Focus on that, right? That's what's actually...
Well, it's like, it's like what you're doing right now. You're doing an interview with me, and you're doing a great job. And and you worked for this. Just didn't happen. You got here because you worked and you met people and you overcame your fears probably. And, you're working very hard for it. You're tenacious. And you have to be that way. You can't be, this whole victimizing thing that people are doing nowadays. It's like I used to fight with my cousin all the time. She's a doctor. She's highly intelligent. And, it's always about like, oh, our people are down. We are being put down. I said, what the hell are you talking about? We are the door now. Look at this. We're everybody. There's nobody hiding that's putting us down anymore. Only we can stop us.
You heard it, everybody. This is Damian Chapa. And then also, would you like to talk about the dates? We're doing meet and greets.
Oh, yeah. We're doing these meet and greets for the 30-year anniversary of Blood and Blood Out, which I'm very proud of. For me, this is incredible how this film has impacted the Chicano community and the world. I mean, I'll get off on planes in Sweden, and I'll look in these 3 white kids, and I'm talking about kids. They come up to me and they say, Vatos Locos Forever. And it's like in a Swedish accent. And, some old granny in the middle of Germany, Vatos Loco. And it's like, how did this film get out there, But our culture, and I want to say, what word is specific for our culture? It's not really. We have a diversified culture. But as we say in the movie, it's a kind of a Chicano culture, or a Mexican culture. And we should all be very proud that people have accepted this movie like it's worldwide. So this 30-year anniversary is very important to me because people have embraced the Chicano culture, the Mexican-American culture, and the Mexican culture. And it's because of the dance, because of the art, because of our creativity. We're very creative people. We are. You look at our art and our communities, it's the most beautiful, the most vibrant colors, and the most beautiful women. You got to admit, Mexican women are the most beautiful. You got to admit.
That's true. That's true.
Which is true. So anyway, getting back to the meet and greet, we're going to be this Friday, May 19th, 5 to 7, at El Paisa Grill, 2126 3200 West in West Valley City, Utah. And then we're going to be on Wednesday, May 17th, which is tomorrow, from 5 to 8 p.m. Brasa Mexican Grill, 227 Cougar Boulevard, and that's in Provo, Utah. And then one more, Sunday, May 21st, 2 to 4 in Ogden at Legacy Tattoo, 236 25th Street in Ogden, Utah. And those guys, thank you so much for pushing so hard for us.
Well, thank you so much, Damian, for giving us this interview. We're so excited to see how tomorrow's meet and greet goes. And we're sure so many people will be so excited to see you. We're here from Salt Lake City. My name is Jenderly Reyes, and until next time.
Vatos Locos
Forever.